Bedouins are Arabs and desert nomads who hail from and continue to live primarily in the Arabian Peninsula and the Middle East and North Africa. Bedouin means desert people. The term Bedouin is an anglicization of the Arabic word Ba'eju. It has traditionally been used to differentiate between nomads who made a living by raising livestock, the Bedouins, and those who worked on farms or lived in towns. There is some debate as to whether non-Arab-speaking nomads who live in the Middle East are Bedouins. These groups generally prefer names like the Fadan tribe or the Rashida Arabs to Bedouins.
Bedouin culture has a lot of rituals and practices. A sheikh who is chosen for their courage, generosity, and wisdom. Generally appointed by a group of men who dispense justice according to the tribal custom. While most of Bedouins are Sunni Muslims, there are still some pre-Islamic beliefs and practices related to spirits, witches, and divination among groups. Some traditions include weddings, ritual naming of newborn infants, and circumcision of boys. Weddings would mostly be held in a large black tent, positioned in the shade and surrounded by camels, which would later be blessed by the sheikh. It is common for Bedouin bride and groom to rarely meet before the wedding, and a dowry is agreed upon on the wedding. Naming of a newborn infant is pretty straightforward. Firstly, the child is given their own first name. The second name is the name of their father, and the third name of their grandfather. Although many Bedouins have abandoned their tribal traditions for a modern lifestyle, many have retained their culture. For example, traditional music in Bedouin are closely linked to poetry and are either sung unaccompanied or to a stringed instrument called the rebab. The traditional dance of Bedouin is known as dihaya. People of urban Bedouin go camel riding and camping in the deserts for leisure.
Hi, my name is Asta and my topic is shelter. In the harsh desert environments, adequate and adaptable shelter is essential, as weather conditions can change quickly and dramatically. Why Bedouins developed large tents? So that they could easily erect, dismantle and transport. They joined together long strips of densely woven camel hair and vegetable fibers. Why? To construct the fibers for their long tents held up with poles fastened with the guy ropes. The side can be fastened up and down, allowing any breeze to blow through. Even the dwellings are made from the goat skins and the goat wools. They even have the separate living quarters for the men and the women and children. How do they do so? The tent is divided into the two sections by the woolen panels or the curtains known as manad. One section is reserved for men for receiving guests, and the other section is reserved for women for cooking and weaving purposes.
Hi, my name is Arsha and my topic is clothing. Bedouins make their own clothes from the wool of their camels, sheep and goats. The design of the cloth is both functional and fashionable. Men are usually responsible for shearing the sheep and goats, and this takes place over a springtime. Bedouin women had developed the skills and technique of weaving. The traditional male Arab dress is a long white tunic, a sleeveless cloak, and a distinctive headcloth. The tunic is loose-fitting, allowing air to circulate, preventing sweat from evaporating too quickly, and slowing dehydration in hot, dry air. The headcloth, or the kufiya, acts as a protection from the cold, a shield from the sun's heat, and a screen to keep the wind and sand out. What does the robe signify? The robe shows the wearer's ability to abide by obligations and responsibilities of manhood. Women wear black decorated garments on the chest. Their head and faces are protected by a special cover called a burqa, as well as expensive jewels. Their clothes are loose-fitting and shield the wearer from the hostile elements. Why they wear loose-fitted clothes? as it allows air to pass along the skin and exit, and also helps in speeding evaporation and carrying off excess heat.
Bedouins generally rely upon a different assortment of breads: lavash, pita, khubz mahala. Bedou cooking emphasizes quantity rather than style. The traditional Bedou diet consisted mainly of camel milk, drunk cold or hot, boiled with bread, or cooked with rice. Usually goat's meat was an occasional luxury. Bedou along coastal areas also eat fish. A thin, flat bread is cooked over the fire on a curved metal sheet. The Bedou also hunt for meat to supplement their diet. They traditionally use trained falcons captured in the fall and released in the spring to hunt desert hares and foxes or migratory birds. Many Bedou hunt with a saluki, a breed of dog related to the greyhound, and as we saw before with a falcon or predatory bird. They cook the meats on a makeshift tandoor in a pit in the sands. They make use of a wire rack to keep the meat from falling and cooking evenly. There are usually 3 cups of coffee offered to a guest. The first is for the guest's arrival, the second is for the bravery of the Bedou men, and the third is for a good and happy mood. In a Bedou household, the men eat first as they are the breadwinners, and then women, followed by the children at the end. Sheep and goats are the traditional animals kept on the fringes of the desert. Goats fare slightly better in the sun as they can browse on tough vegetation and are more tolerant of dry conditions. Goats need water every 2 days, sheep need water daily. Both provide their owners with milk, meat, and wool. The numbers of goats and sheep have to be carefully controlled, as too many animals will destroy desert vegetation irreparably through trampling and overgrazing. In traditional food preparation, the mother is the main cook. She is assisted by her daughters who, among other things, gather wood for the fire. The mother starts at 4 o'clock in the morning, baking the bread and preparing breakfast for her husband and children. Besides cleaning the house, she prepares lunch and supper, both hot meals. Only on special occasions, for instance, when an important guest is invited, the man prepares the food. As proof that he really slaughtered the sheep or lamb, he shows the guest a knife full of blood. For these occasions, the women prepare the bread and rice.
Hi, my name is Aditya and my domain is farming and agriculture. Different Bedouin tribes live across the Sinai, with traditional livelihoods tied to the region's diverse climate and landscape, whether raising camels in the desert to fishing along the coast. Bedouins are known to be experts at living in harsh conditions. Why? The Bedouins have a very diverse economy, for which they made a survival strategy in such a way that if one sector of the economy goes down, they revive other sectors until things improve, which maintains a balance among them. Agriculture is a major source of sustaining life here. Why? It comprises a large part of their diet. Where are wheat, Negev, barley and lentils produced? In the northern semi-arid Negev, wheat, barley and lentils are produced. Wheat is an important staple of the Bedouin diet. How? Whole wheat flour was used for making several types of bread, the most common of which was khubz, such a thin, unleavened, tortilla-like bread, usually made fresh for every meal. The Bedouin living in the more arid areas had larger herds and depended more upon herding than agriculture for their livelihood. What was the reason behind this? Arid areas weren't suitable enough for agriculture, so there were excess amount of herders towards the arid areas. With excess amount of livestock and animal products as a source of income, they could purchase the agricultural products they needed, maintaining a balance between the two. The Bedouin livelihood primarily involved herding of sheep, goats and camels that provided meat, milk products and wool. When was meat eaten? Meat is usually eaten during special occasions such as feasts, weddings and visits from guests. Why? As herding animals in such harsh conditions is hard, it was very limited and was hence eaten only during certain occasion.